1991. Birds and people are living together in seemingly perfect harmony, until one day a young man catches fire. This is Phoenix.
Good evening. Welcome back to another Kneejerk stream. Game week 16 is literally, well, not literally, but it's just finished a couple of hours ago. And we're looking straight ahead to game week 17. The deadline is on Tuesday. I just can't remember what time. Is the deadline at 6? Is the deadline at 6 on Tuesday? The deadline is at 6 on Tuesday evening. I had a green arrow. I'm happy. I'm feeling good. Oh, yeah, the background just, don't know how that happened. Yeah, you gotta love a green screen. Right? We might just keep this on. We might just keep this background on for the whole damn stream. Domagoj basically kick-started my week. I gotta be honest, I was feeling pretty bad about my game week up until that point, up until that penalty. We'll talk about the Man United COVID stuff in a second. James, love this. P.S. I'm a Mboma holder. I'm going to play him this week because of Cancelo. I was going to bench him and I got to play him. I don't know how it got there. I don't know how this got there. Someone's going to unsubscribe if I don't change the background. I will see you later. Lucky and bomb owners. Correct. It was lucky, but who cares? I'm taking it. I'm taking it. The number of Mbamos on screen is equal to the number of times Mbamo hit the post. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Pretty much. I mean, like, he's hit the post like 7 times. We could have a bit of luck with a penalty, you know? Surely we have to bring in Foden for these upcoming fixtures. I don't know what to say about Man City midfielders. I give up with them. Just give up. Foden's the one, but like, and then Pep says he's got like a bit of an ankle issue. He's going to tell him when he's fine, but then he didn't come on. Yeah, okay, we'll change it. We'll change it. Don't worry. The usual backgrounds here. The usual backgrounds here. My graphic designer. That was produced by me. That was produced by me. It took me about 30 seconds. Didn't switch Jota out, had Gallagher first sub. Ouch. I've got to be honest, if I had Gallagher first sub, I probably would have risked Jota as well. The thing here, I was going to say Jota's like one of those players that always comes on, like Vardy, apart from Vardy didn't come on today because they were absolutely smashing it. If he missed the penalty, I would have been in tears. Just quickly bought Ronaldo before cost increase. Nice. Although obviously, I don't... Okay. We'll talk about some proper FPL stuff in just a second. 92 points in the top 100k for the first time ever. Very nice. 92 points is massive. That must have been a huge green arrow. Mikel Antonio sucks. Yes, he does. Yeah. I watched the highlights for Burnley West Ham. I didn't watch the game, and the only thing I kind of remember Antonio being involved in was a cross from Rice on the left, and had Pope not tipped it over the bar, it probably would have fallen to Antonio, but that's about it. That's the only highlight I remember. That's about the only thing I remember from the highlights for Antonio. Declan Rice looked good, though, for anyone that's considering him. That's a joke, by the way. That's a joke. Replace Atsu with Mbamo. Maybe. Maybe at some point. I'll just bring up my score. All right, we'll get through these. So this is my team. Is Big at the back dead? I mean, 2 of them got good points. Cancelo and Trent. Had Cancelo not got the yellow, it probably would have been 2 extra points. Chelsea defence is not looking good right now, though. Kovacic, Kante, need them back. Probably need Chilwell back as well, to be fair. It was a pretty poor tackle from Alonso for the penalty. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how this week went. Saka hit the post. Oh, imagine if Saka had scored. He probably would have got all 3 bonus. And he would have absolutely mega hauled, and that would have been amazing. But I'm obviously still happy. I've got 74 points. I said it before this week. I said 70 to 80 points plus a green arrow, I'll be happy. And I got 74, nearly smack bang in the middle. Although, apparently, 71 was my safety score, according to Live FPL. So that means if I got 71, I basically would have stayed where I am. So 3 points has pushed me up like 30-odd thousand places. It's absolutely mad. It's absolutely mad. Is 60 bad for this week? I mean, the score doesn't necessarily... I mean, 60 probably is quite bad for this week, to be honest. Like, it's not awful, but it's not necessarily the points that matter. It's what everyone else gets. So, I mean, I got 74. Had I got 70, I would have got a small red arrow. That's how close it was. Yeah, King hit the post as well. I had two more... Like, when Mbamo finally doesn't hit the post, and then 2 of my players hit the post instead, Saka and King. And that's the thing, right? That's how small the margins are. Okay, King hits the post. Maybe it wasn't a great chance or an easy chance or anything like that, but he hits the post, then get a corner. Was it a corner from that? It was very soon afterwards, and then Dennis scores from the corner. Do you know what I mean? If King puts that a few inches to the left, he scores. Dennis doesn't get his goal, and suddenly everyone's like happy who went for King, but instead it's all about Dennis again. And I think I said that on the deadline stream. People were saying, like, again, why are you going for King over Dennis? I said penalties, better underlying stats, and no chance of African combinations. I think I also said, but Dennis could outscore him, right? It's just how football goes sometimes. Would I still bring in King ahead of Dennis? Possibly. The only thing that would change my mind, actually, is, and they were interchanging a little bit, but for the most of the game, Dennis was through the middle. And I think to be honest, like forget about the stats for a second. From watching the games, the last 2 games, Dennis did look a little bit more involved against Chelsea as well. So I think it's a difficult choice now. I think it is a difficult choice. I probably would. I'm not regretting going for King. Let me put it that way. Yeah, no, I agree. I think Dennis looked better than King. I mean, King did have an okay chance from the left in the second half, I think. But it was a pretty poor shot, to be honest. Yeah, Vardy, I got to be honest, I think I said to keep Vardy for Newcastle. I thought he would start, and he didn't. Obviously, the problem is now they have got Daka, and Daka is just like Jamie Vardy. So they have got a replacement that can come in for him now. So Vardy probably has to go. The only thing is, if the Spurs game's on, obviously, Vardy's going to be playing in that, you'd assume. But I think it probably is time to go. I said on your dead on stream we had the exact same team apart from you've got Bernardo instead of Saka and David De Gea instead of Ramsdale, but I started Jota, wrong decision. Starting Bomo or Livramento this week. I started Bomo. To be honest, I'm not actually that happy. Like, I'm going to be playing in Bomo because of the Cancelo stuff. And the reason, before anyone asked, the reason I've got Cancelo in my team is because I feel like if I put in Bomo in, people are going to ask me why I'm playing him. Whereas at least this way you can see the reason why he's going to play. But I actually don't mind playing in Bournemouth. I've got to be honest, like, Man United have just won 2 games 1-0 in the league. I don't think they can play much worse. But I don't know. I think Norwich had a few chances. Like, Pukki had a couple of chances. David De Gea basically kept Man United in it. There was one chance where, I don't know who it was, but it was from the right into the box. And he was going past Harry Maguire. I think if he kept running, Harry Maguire might have fouled him and they would have won a penalty. So Norwich causes problems, and Brentford are a better team, especially if Tony's back. Because one thing I noticed from the Watford-Brentford game, especially in the first half, maybe the first half an hour, but basically before the goal went in, because after that Brentford were pretty poor for a while, is Mbommo was making lots of good runs. Obviously I've got Mbommo, so I kept watching him, and he was making lots of good runs. They just never really found him. And obviously he did have that good chance when he tried to wrap the ball around. It was a good save, right? It wasn't struck with too much power. But actually, I don't mind playing Mbommo against Man United. I don't think the defence looks great right now. I'm not saying I wouldn't bring Dallo in because I think, Man United should be able to only get better from here on. But it's going to take a lot for Rangnick to kind of turn it around, I think. I'm through in the cup. I was funny because I was going to tweet about a cup saying I'm basically through as long as Gallagher doesn't get 20 points. And he ended up getting 15. So I'm still through, but it was a lot closer than I originally thought. Why are people still buying Ronaldo and forcing his price to increase tonight when there is every chance Man United's game against Brentford gets called off? Yeah, people just don't know about the news, don't care about the news. But for what it's worth, I think it'll probably get played unless we get more news. Like right now, it doesn't sound like anything different to what Norwich had, where they had a couple of COVID positives and they still played. It has to be really bad for it to get called off. Spurs are back training now. Apparently, Conte got them straight back in and did a double session with them. So I'm going to assume the Spurs versus Leicester game will be on, but again, we don't know for sure. But the fact they're back training now and the game's not till Thursday, that tells me it'll probably be on. Like, at the end of the day, the Premier League don't want any postponements they don't have to have. It just gets way too tricky to fit them all in. Like, it gets to the point like last year when Man United had a triple game week. So I think Man United Brentford will at this point, right, if I had to guess, I'd say Man United Brentford go ahead. But of course, there's no point in making a transfer unless you absolutely have to, right? The funny thing is, in Sky, I know no one on this stream cares, but in Sky Fantasy Football, I forgot to because you can transfer kind of mid-game week or whatever. I forgot to transfer Kane to Ronaldo, so I've already done it now for next week because I just don't want to miss it again. But yeah, and then as soon as I did that, I saw the COVID news. I was like, oh, maybe I should have waited, but it is what it is. Done my transfers already. Ronaldo and Watkins in for a -4. Oof. FPL updating to introduce a booster chip. Let me see. It's actually down. It's not down for me, but I don't want to push it because I've got the site open. So if I need to check anything, I can. So I'm going to leave it open. Imagine Ronaldo doesn't play. I mean, there is a chance that Ronaldo doesn't play, right? It's Saturday night into Tuesday night. It's not a great turnaround. There is a chance he'll miss out. But I don't think the intensity with which Man United played against Norwich was like the game against Palace. Remember when Ronaldo came off against Palace? He looked knackered. I don't think it was really the same against Norwich. Should I get Ronaldo in before the price rise? I wouldn't unless you're like on 0.0 in the bank, because if it does get called off and you've bought him in, you're going to be annoyed. I think we just have to accept that in the next few weeks, so we've got a lot of fixtures to come, there's going to be postponements and it's going to be a nightmare. Your preference between Jota, Foden and Bernardo. I've got to be honest, my preference is that order. I still think Jota is, right now, I still think Jota is better than any Man City mid, because Firmino's back training, but he wasn't, I don't think he was even in the squad against Villa. So he ain't just going to get stuck back in the team. The best Firmino's going to get next is a start on the bench, right? You know, start on the bench doesn't make any sense, but you know what I mean. He's going to be on the bench. So for me, Jota definitely starts Newcastle. I just, right now, I don't see Jota's minutes being any worse than most of the Man City mids. And Bernardo Silva's minutes are maybe better once Firmino's back, but the stats for Jota are just so clear. And I know he's frustrated. I know he could have scored at the end and he didn't, but I still think Jota's better than any Man City mid, personally. Like, Salah's good, but he's so expensive. Sterling's good, but he's so expensive. Foden's decent. I think Foden's really tricky, because if I was going to buy a Man City mid this week for around 8 million, he'd probably be the one I'd want. But the quotes from Pep before the game week were a bit annoying. Like, they were like, he's got this issue with his ankle. He'll tell us how he feels. I think it's his ankle. He'll tell us how he feels. But I mean, he only played like half an hour or so, didn't he, when Gundogan came off? So you'd assume Foden's going to start the next game. I mean, Grealish could be worth a look as well, to be honest. But I guess right now, Bernardo Silva is just getting the minutes. So I don't think there's anything wrong with going for him. I still don't think he would be my pick right now, though, if I'm honest. I know people get frustrated. The thing is, like, if I go against the grain, I get moaned at. And if I just buy the players that everyone else is, if I just promote the players that everyone else is promoting, then I get moaned at for that as well. But right now, Bernardo Silva probably isn't the mid I would buy, even though he's absolutely ticking over. Although that should not have been a penalty. That's a ridiculous decision. I guess it was. I guess they didn't overturn it because there wasn't enough there. But I mean, it didn't, like, it hit him like here. Do you know what I mean? I don't really get it. Would you sell James? Reece James? Yeah, Chelsea defence is tricky because it is bad right now. Like, it is just bad. And I'm not really sure what's going to turn it around, apart from a game against Everton might help. I'm a little bit worried about Alonso. It's got to be said, because again, when did they play? Did they play Saturday? Yeah, they played Saturday in their game. To be fair, they're not playing until Thursday, so that's enough rest for Alonso. So he'll probably be okay. But I probably wouldn't sell Reece James. I don't know. Like, for me, okay, Everton, Wolves, Brighton. I think Villa away is kind of tough. Everton at home, Wolves away, Brighton at home. Could they get 2 clean sheets from the next 4? I think it's possible. And James is pretty attacking. I don't think he's a priority sell. I think you've got to have almost a perfect squad to be in a position where you can sell Reece James. Reece James is on 4 yellow cards. If he gets booked in the next game, would you consider getting rid? Yeah, possibly. Possibly. Is he on 4 yellows? Yeah, he is. Yeah, so you're right. He's on 4 yellows, so he's got to go another 2 or 3 games, I think, without getting a yellow. I think if he gets suspended, you could make a case for it, because the fixture's coming up. Like, this little run here is obviously not good because he blanks. So that maybe changes things. But I don't know. Like, I get it. It's been really frustrating to go from like 54 points or whatever it was in 4 game weeks to 1. Like, 1 point in the last 4. Like, you've just got to laugh at that, honestly. I don't just feel like it's a similar situation to me for like in Bomo or players like that I've held for like a long time and they haven't done it. But you've got to assess the next fixture. The next fixture is Everton at home. I feel like that's an okay fixture. Don't get me wrong, like, Chelsea have been poor and Kovacic is still going to be out. Kante's probably still going to be out as well. So I'm not like going into that thinking the double clean sheet is nailed, but it just doesn't feel like a great week to sell him, to be honest. Unless you've got nothing else to do, in which case, fair enough. It's all going to depend on your team, right? Formula One, I don't watch it, to be honest. I didn't even hop on the bandwagon today, so I've got no input into that at all, really. Is it time to drop De Bruyne from the intro graphic? That sounds like a lot of effort. Probably not. Linus, I said on your... Oh, yeah, sorry, I did that one. Gavin, it's time to sell Chelsea defence. Oh, we kind of just answered that without seeing your question. Is Laporte a viable move? So I had Laporte before, earlier on the season. It does look like he's pretty much first choice. He is going to miss the odd game. He's not going to play every single game. But for 5.5, he's decent. If you can stretch the Diaz, he's still the one. But yeah, other than that. Do we know who has COVID at United and Villa? No, they don't. Unless it leaks, they don't put forward the names. In this form, would you still buy Antonio in game week 18? Great question. I mean, I guess the bigger question is, who'd you go for instead? Like, would I buy Antonio? Maybe not. Who are you buying instead? Would I, like, for example, I could sell Antonio and go to Foden in midfield and play 3-5-2 most weeks. Is that better? Or 4-5-1, sorry. 4-5-1 or 4-4-2. Is that better? Maybe. I think for me, right, with Antonio is we know how good he can be. I do worry that maybe he needs a bit of a rest. I said that weeks ago. Because obviously he's had to play European games, he's had to play international games for Jamaica as well. Overall, like looking at his underlying stats, for his expected goal involvement, it's around the same, but his goal threat has dropped this year so far. Obviously, again, by the end of the season, it might be different. But his goal threat's dropped and his assist threat's gone up. So yeah, maybe he's not quite the asset he once was, but at the same time, like, we know how bad the fixture... I'm just looking at it here. We know how bad the fixture run was. Like, they've played Chelsea, they've played Man City, they've played Liverpool. To be fair, in those games, they did score plenty of goals. Against Liverpool, Man City and Chelsea, they scored 7 goals, by the way. Antonio just didn't get involved with any of them, apart from 1 assist against Chelsea. I got to be honest, right? While he's fit, I'm not trying to be funny about it, but while he's fit... Right, game week 18, you've got Norwich, Southampton, Watford, Palace, Leeds. He's got to get some goals there. Surely. We're talking about timings to sell players. Is now the time to be selling Antonio if you've come this far? Maybe not. I mean, you can fall into the trap of keeping a player too long, absolutely. But I look at this team. Like, again, you've got to assess your own team. But I look at this team. Is Antonio out my priority this week? No, absolutely not. I'll roll the transfer. Then he's playing Norwich at home. Is he going to be a priority transfer out? No, because what kind of an idiot would take someone out before Norwich, right? So I'm going to keep him. I can tell you now, my son told me he's going to sell Antonio early. He said, Antonio's been rubbish, I'm selling him. But for me, I'm keeping him. If he gets injured or something, that's a whole different story. But right now, he's playing every week. I do think at some point, they're going to have to rest him. Right? Whether he plays Arsenal on Wednesday and then Norwich on Saturday, I don't know. Maybe he will. Yeah, I get it. 1 goal in 10 games, like half of his points or more than half of his points came in August. I get it. I completely get it. If you want to sell him, I'm not sitting here telling you definitely shouldn't do it. I'm just telling you there's no chance that I do it. They haven't got another striker that can come in. They just don't have one at all. Maybe they'll buy one in January. They could do with some backup. Put it this way. Depending on how my team was set up, in Game Week 18, I would probably still buy Antonio if I didn't have him, to be honest. That's how much I just trust him, I think. Maybe that'll come back to bite me. Maybe it will. But I think I probably would. Would you go from Wilson to Antonio or Watkins this week? Antonio, I think. Rotation between Watkins and Ings. Yeah, I'd be interested to see what happens with Watkins and Ings. Will he play them together that much? When will Antonio need a rest? Great question. Again, I kind of just discussed it. I don't know, to be honest. I wish I knew. His expected goal involvement stats have fallen for a cliff. They haven't, to be honest. Like, they've come down from where they were at the start of the season, but that's always going to happen when they're so high. But his expected goal involvement is 0.64 per 90. Last year it was 0.62. So it's actually up slightly, but that is mostly through assist threat. His goal threat has come down. But again, good fixtures could boost that back up, right? Couple of good games, happy days. And again, it's not me. I'm not trying to sit here telling you he's like this amazing option because he just doesn't look like it right now. But the fixtures are there. The fixtures are there. And fixtures are king. Like, what do we know about Antonio? We know how good he is, right? Has he lost that? Maybe. Or has he just had a really bad run of fixtures? Possibly. Does he need a rest? Possibly. But we know how good he can be, and he's got great fixtures coming up. That is, to me, that is just the perfect formula. That's just the perfect formula for success. I mean, if he doesn't score against Norwich, people are really going to lose it with him, I think. Like, that does feel like a big... I don't know, like a pivotal kind of week. Someone asked me a question about Ings versus Watkins. I mean, I've got to be honest. I like right now. Again, it's hard to choose right now because I think Ings has been out for a little while. How are they going to set up? I don't know. But Watkins has played pretty much 90 minutes, like forever, and I feel like in Gerrard's kind of team, Watkins might suit better than Ings. So will Ings miss out a few games? Who knows? Right now, if I had to pick one, I would pick Watkins because I'm pretty sure he will start every game, near enough. But that could change next week or the week after, right, when we get new information. Yeah, exactly. So, like what Ollie said in the chat, Watkins could go left and Ings through the middle. That could happen, and that could dent Watkins' appeal. But until we see it, how it's going to work, it's just hard to say. Can only go with what we've got right now, right? Andre, thank you very much. Benjamin Lewis is robbed. Michael Massey out. Also 94 pointer. Very nice. 94 points, 40k. Lovely. In terms of the F1, didn't watch it. I had to keep. I was like messaging my mate. What's happening? Why? I was basically messaging my mate to say, why is everyone on Twitter annoyed? Any thoughts on Mbomo to McGinn or Jorginho? No, come on. Can't sell Mbomo to McGinn or Jorginho. Surely. For me, Mbomo, if I sell him, it'll be to Damari Gray, I think. We know Antonio has never scored more than 10 Premier League goals. Yeah, that's true. But obviously that is down to a lack of minutes because he always gets injured. I'm keeping the faith. CBFPL, thank you very much. We go again. 4 months member. Thank you very much. You can go and subscribe on YouTube. Why is everyone on Twitter annoyed? Isn't that the eternal question? Yes, but yeah, that is true. Yeah, everyone is always annoyed about something on Twitter. But in this particular case, it was lots of Formula One annoyance. Don't let me... If you're thinking about selling Mbomo, don't forget. Penalty taking extraordinaire. All right? Penalty taking extraordinaire. That was the best sporting moment of the weekend. Forget Lewis Hamilton versus Max Verstappen. The best part of the weekend was Mbomo. 9 points. Never forget. Antonio 4-1 game against Norwich. Imagine that. It'd be amazing. Especially if everyone sold him beforehand. Come on, that penalty happened in the 96th minute. Well, does that count any less than the penalty happened in the first minute? I've never got that with people. I know it feels like luckier, but you get a penalty in the first 30 seconds. It's no different to get it in the last 30 seconds. You know what I mean? It's still part of the game. I mean, it's lucky. It's obviously lucky they got a penalty while Tony was out, and Mbomo was the taker. But I'll take it. Now we know that Mbomo's second choice taker, right? I wonder as well. Leeds fans, let me know. I wonder if Rafinha might keep penalties. Would he keep penalties? Maybe. Like I know he's not. I know he wasn't first choice, but Bamford only got them because Click missed. And I know Bamford hasn't missed, but Rafinha's done so well. Would he keep him? Maybe. Is that wishful thinking? Mbomo going on the Legends Wall come the end of the season. He's got to do a lot, I think. He's got to do a lot. If he got like a hat-trick against Watford, that might have been Wall status. But one goal... I mean, so this is the thing with the Wall. There's no rules, but there kind of are rules. Like, the fact that the goal came in a 96-minute penalty... when he's not the usual penalty taker, that gives you more chance of going on the wall than just scoring a goal in open play in like the 30th minute, right? So they feel different even though they're not different, the timing of the goals. Rank midfielders who to buy: Bowen, Bernardo Silva, Gallagher. Probably that order again. I still think Bowen is ahead of the other two. Then Bernardo Silva, then Gallagher. Just about. I mean, there's nothing like wrong with Gallagher. I think he's still a good option. I mean, he's obviously playing a bit further forward than he has maybe in the last couple of games. But I think, yeah, probably that order. I think Bowen, then Bernardo Silva, then Gallagher. Massam, Antonio scored 4 goals versus Norwich a couple of seasons ago. Trust me, I know. It was a great game. The great thing is, though, that Bowen blanked today, so now everyone will be off him again. If Antonio scores versus Arsenal, would you captain him versus Norwich in game week 18 when Salah is away at Spurs? Do you know what? A few weeks ago, I talked about captaincy. We're talking weeks and weeks ago because obviously Salah's just been ridiculous since. And I said that game week 18 was one of the weeks I might not do it. And I knew that, and I talked about how Ronaldo had Brighton at home, but Antonio might be an option. But right now, I'm not. I just can't go against Salah. It's not even Antonio really that worries me, even though he has to score for ages, because he will score at some point. It's more like Salah's just too good. Like, I'm definitely captaining Salah this week against Newcastle. Like, there's not even a second thought about it. There is nobody better by a mile. Like, Newcastle just so poor. And yeah, Brighton is tough, but it is a home game for Man United, so I'd expect Ronaldo to get chances if he plays. I mean, Man City players could be options this week as captain, but let's be honest, it's Salah again. Newcastle are a really bad defence. Eddie Howe is not going to make them better defensively. They really need some signings in January, like really do. That's what FPL comes down to, luck, because Mboma would never have scored if Tony was on the pitch. True, but it's no different to any player not being on the pitch, right? That's yeah. Like Foden getting those 2 goals and then one comes off his arse. Yeah, no, of course there is always luck. I've always said that. It's not like FPL is purely skill, right? I don't want to get into a luck versus skill debate, but of course there has to be luck, right? It's a game of football. Anything can happen. I should listen to you and bench Jota. Gallagher on the bench hurts. To be honest, I'm not. I can't remember. Like, I got lots of questions about whether to bench Jota or not, and my answer did change depending on the player. So between Gallagher and Jota, I'm not sure what I would have said. I may have said play Jota, to be honest. I can't remember. Admit you slept on Gallagher. Okay, I slept on Gallagher. I don't know why people are so obsessed with saying that you got a few players wrong. Like, welcome to FPL. You slept on Gallagher. He's had, before today, he's had 1 assist in the last 5 games. I mean, I could say, well, hang on. So in the last 5 games, Gallagher's had 3 returns in the last 5 games. I mean, Mbommo's had 2 in the last 2. You slept on Mbommo, my man. You slept on Mbommo. You could have had an assist and a penalty. Corey going down to 5.3 tonight. Is he? That is cheap. Cheap as chips. I'd still probably get Demarai Gray, I think. What do you think about Jota's minutes now? Firmino's back. Yeah, kind of similar to what I said earlier. Firmino wasn't even in the squad. So until he gets on the bench and plays some minutes, I'm not worried, to be honest. And the thing is, even, like, let's say that Firmino is not going to play against Newcastle, which I really doubt that he goes from not being in the squad to playing ahead of Jota. I just don't think that happens. So then you've only got like game week 18, 19, maybe 20. I'm still not 100% sure exactly when Salah's going to the African Cup of Nations, but when Salah and Mane go, Jota's going to be nailed. So you've got like a maximum of kind of 2 to 3 games where Jota may or may not start, and he could start at least 2 of those 3, depending on when Firmino's back. So at the most now going forward, possibly he might miss 1 game, maybe 2, and then he's going to be nailed for African Cup of Nations. Then who knows what happens with injuries and stuff. So I got, like, Jota's really not in my mind to sell anytime soon. I might be wrong about that, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Like admitting that you slept on a player is just so stupid. Like, am I going to sit here and tell you all that you slept on Mboma because you didn't get him in for a goal? And like, it's stupid. Of course you're going to get players wrong. That's FPL. Tony to Antonio / Watkins, or Tony to Locadia and Mboma to Jota, Foden already. Yeah, see. So then basically the question is, okay, without the -4, because that does make it a bit trickier. Essentially, it's Antonio versus Jota or Foden. I've got to be honest, like Jota is probably better than Antonio, but the fixtures are so good. I probably wouldn't take the hit, and I would probably just get Antonio. When Salah goes to African Cup of Nations, will you sell him? Possibly. But it's going to depend on a lot of things, like how quickly he could come back. Also, like who else is needed that I don't have. But I think he's so much money that I probably would sell him. Probably, but I'm not going to decide anything on Salah till we get there. Like, how many transfers do I have? How many other flyers do I have to put out? All this kind of stuff. Will you be sleeping on Jay Lings this year if he gets a January move? Possibly, yeah, possibly. You've all slept on Madison. Yep, there we go. Who else scored this week? Let's have a look. You all slept on Jorginho. 2 penalties. Come on. Who else did really well? No one got double returns. Cancelo, by the way, should have had an assist. Didn't happen. And Gallagher. You've also slept on Tompkins. Like, who didn't see that coming? Defender, goal. Happy days. Is Tierney an option now? Have White been thinking of upgrading? Yes, he seems to have his place back, which is good. I mean, Tavares was okay, but Tierney, I think, is a level above. White to Tierney is okay as long as you're having to play that player a lot. Like, I think with White, you're kind of happy to bench, whereas with Tierney, you're probably not. And I'm still not sure I completely rate the Arsenal defence, even though Ramsdale absolutely came through clutch again this week. But yeah, Tierney is an option, yeah. Sideways James to Alonso. No. I don't know why you do that, to be honest. Bowen Gallagher, good shout. Yeah, I definitely go for Bowen over Gallagher, I think. I got De Bruyne on a win, worth holding on to. I just think he's way too much money. Doesn't have penalties. Not even starting every game at the moment. I just think he's rubbish. He's not a rubbish player, obviously, but I think he's a rubbish FPL option right now. I don't have any information about the Man United game. We'll obviously discuss that before Tuesday. My gut feeling is yes, it will go ahead, but let's see. Oh. When will Spurs have their double or triple game week? Honestly, no idea. I think that's one of the reasons I kind of like having Ronaldo right now, because if it happens quick, you can just sell Ronaldo to Kane, and obviously if it happens while Salah's at African Cup of Nations, then Salah to Son also looks pretty good, and then you just got to get a defender in. Is Ronaldo really worth bringing in for 12.4 million? I got to be honest, I don't really know the answer to that, because I've got him and I feel okay with him. Do I think he's great value? Not really, but there's such a lack of options right now up front. I can only go by my team. Like, if I sold Ronaldo, I don't know who I would go for. Maybe I would even go down to a 4.5 million forward, and then I'd probably start upgrading to like get a Foden in there, and then maybe another Man City midfielder. So again, the question comes back to, like, if we bear in mind, like, on a normal week, this is my team. I'm either playing King, Saka, or Mboma. Like, one of these three is getting benched. So it's one of these. Two of these are getting played, I should say. Most weeks. Right? Let's forget about Cancelo. So I would have to have one of these anyway. So it's basically one of these plus Ronaldo. Is that worse than 2 Man City midfielders? I'm not sure it is. Now, it's not going to work like that for everyone. Some people will be able to have Ronaldo and Jota and Salah and a Man City midfielder and big at the back. But I feel like Ronaldo just fits in quite well right now. But it's all going to depend on your team. I wouldn't be ripping up my team to get him in. That's what I'd say. He's not really great value because we're not captaining him at the moment. Like, some people would have done it this week. Fair enough. That's an extra 1 point if you had Salah. And when Salah does go to African Cup of Nations or over some of these game weeks, you might look at some point to captain Ronaldo. But it's not even like the fixtures are amazing. So he's I would say he's not value. No, but right now I think he fits in quite well with most people's squads, to be honest. I think the thing is, Ronaldo's minutes when he's fit are going to be pretty much 90 most games, right? If they're ahead by like 2 or 3 goals, maybe he comes off earlier. With Man City mids, apart from Bernardo Silva, I just don't know which one's going to be playing every single week. Like this week, I'm sure Foden will start, right? He didn't start the last game. And I'm sure Gundogan might get a rest and De Bruyne will play because Gundogan apparently is suffering with a bit of a back issue. But other than that, week to week, apart from Bernardo Silva, it's kind of hard to know. And I do think there's a little bit of a chance that Ronaldo misses out this week, but we'll see. We'll see. He got rest in the Champions League, so he should be okay. Please can I have a shout out. JT, top of works, min league, keep trying CM. Boom, there you go. Fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji. Could swap Ronaldo for Calvert-Lewin when he comes back. Yeah, you could, yeah. But, I mean, I don't know when that's going to be, to be honest. Every single week, Benitez gets asked about it, and every single week it just seems like he's still like a few days away, a few weeks away. And that's from even, like, getting anywhere near being back. I don't think Calvert-Lewin is going to be a serious option for another 4 game weeks at least. And again, I'm prepared for that to be wrong and for him to come back sooner and prove me wrong. And I'd love to get Calvert-Lewin in. I love the guy. But I just don't think it's worth worrying about players like that have been out for we got to remember Calvert-Lewin's only played 3 games this season right at the start of the season, game week 1, 2 and 3, hasn't played since. He's not just going to suddenly be rushed. I mean, maybe he will because Everton are doing so poorly, but he's not going to be like rushed into playing 90 minutes every single week over Christmas, I don't think. Now, I'm not, again, as I always say, I'm not a doctor, not a medical expert. Maybe the type of injury is one that when he's back, he's just back. But Benitez keeps saying that they have to manage him really carefully. So I just don't think it's worth worrying about him. Like, he should not be in your thoughts, in my opinion, right now when you're making transfers. I don't think. Do I watch I'm a Celebrity? No, I haven't watched any of this year, no. I was at Palace game today, avoid Everton players. I think the fixtures are about to turn though. Like, it's not like Palace are an easy game. Dom, so I think Ronaldo will be fine. He wasn't even the squad for Champions League game. Yeah, absolutely. What are your thoughts on Odegaard? Yeah, so that's an interesting one because soon Smith Rowe is surely going to get back into the side. So someone has to miss out. You'd assume it'd be Martinelli, right? You'd assume it'd be Martinelli. I was trying to think earlier. Who is the... So it used to be Aubameyang, Saka, Smith Rowe. And who was the other one? Because it wasn't always Odegaard, was it? He was getting benched, but I can't even remember who for. Let me have a look. Who was it a few weeks ago where he was getting benched for? Sorry, he was being benched for someone else. And Kessia, no. It wasn't Pepe. Was it Pepe? Oh, maybe it was Lacazette. Yeah, maybe it was just Lacazette. Maybe they were just playing both strikers, weren't they? Let me see against Villa. Yeah, it was just Aubameyang and Lacazette. So Aubameyang's been in trouble again. Right? I don't think this is the first time he's had a disciplinary under Arteta. So maybe Odegaard gets a run in the team now, possibly. And Martinelli comes out for Smith Rowe. So Odegaard's an okay option. I got to be honest, right? And I said this a couple of weeks ago. I think if you're buying an Arsenal midfielder right now and you've got the money, I think Saka's the one. I mean, he's nailed. Stats are the best out of all of them. Like, he's probably the one I'd go for. I said that last week. Now that Smith Rowe, I mean, obviously Smith Rowe's been missing out, but now that Saka and Smith Rowe are nearly the same price, I think Saka's the one to go for. If you're going for an Arsenal midfielder, if you're not, fair enough. But, I mean, West Ham at home's not that easy. Leeds away and Norwich away are a bit better. Yeah, Martinelli has done well. That's the thing. It's hard. They've got so many options, but Saka is just nailed. Like, Saka plays every game. Second disciplinary. Yeah, exactly. It's not good. Thing is, I don't know if Martinelli comes straight out. Exactly. So does that mean Smith Rowe gets benched after having such a good season so far, or does that mean Odegaard comes out? It's just there's too much. It's too much. There's just too much to kind of worry about. I think you just go Saka if you go none of them. To be honest. Like, he's the most expensive one, but It's not like he's super expensive. Saka's prone to injuries. Yeah, maybe a little bit. I don't know. I mean, so far he's played minutes in every single game so far this year. He hasn't started every game. I don't know. Seems alright to me. I haven't talked about what I'm going to do this week, have I? I don't think. This is my team for this week. I'm probably rolling the transfer, I think. I only have 0.4 in the bank, so I can't do Mbommo to anyone anyway. This will be my team for this week. It'll be a classic 3-4-3. I don't think I'm going to make any moves. I think I just have to risk that Brownhill didn't even start today. I have to risk that Livramento and Brownhill will be enough on my bench. And I've got 0.4 million. So there's not really anyone I want to trade Mbommo for, because Demarai Gray's got a bad fixture this week, right? He's got Chelsea away. I can do Saka to Bowen, but I think I'm going to leave it a week, because if in game week 18 I still want to do that move, I can just do Saka to Bowen. Or if I decide that I want to keep Saka for a couple more weeks, I can do Mbommo to Bowen and fund that by selling one of the Chelsea defenders, maybe. So that's kind of what I'm thinking of doing. So I think I need to just roll this week. I don't see the point in forcing the transfer. I don't think I need it, to be honest. Unless anyone can see a great move. Jota's going nowhere. Salah's going nowhere. Ronaldo's going nowhere. No point in selling King. Got no money to upgrade. Who would I even go for? Benteke and Edouard keep rotating. There's no point in going there. I can't afford it anyway. Antonio's going nowhere. Double Chelsea defence maybe, but again, I just think it's not the week to take him out. And Cancelo, Trent going nowhere. So I think having Ronaldo, it's funny how a few returns changes your mindset, because I was saying that it felt like Kane was kind of hamstringing me a bit, because I had him and I had no money to spend elsewhere, and obviously Mbommo and Saka just weren't doing anything. But now Mbommo and Saka have got a couple of returns, suddenly it feels okay to have Ronaldo in that spot where Kane was, and obviously him scoring as well helps. So a couple of returns kind of changes your mindset a bit. But I think the team looks okay again. I'm not expecting 70 to 80 points, not even necessarily expecting a green arrow, but I think in general it looks okay. And I think 2 free transfers in game week 18. Bearing in mind we would have seen any rotation in 17, we then have a full week ahead of the next games on Boxing Day. I think that's probably a goodish move. And I think I've got... Let me see. When's Bowen gone up? Yeah, he's 6.5, so I've got 0.1 million. Let me just see. And we didn't return today, so I'm hoping that he's not going to rise in price. Oh, he's probably going to rise in price soon. But that still gives me enough money to do it. He's probably not going to go up to 0.2. So I think that's the move. I think I wait. The only thing is, Saka has Leeds away and then Norwich away. So if I keep him this week, am I really going to sell him for Bowen? Am I really going to do that? Probably not. So I'd probably then have to fund Mbommo to Bowen. But then Mbommo has Southampton away. So if I roll and then don't want to take either of those two out, then I'm kind of a little bit stuck. So we'll see. But I think rolling is the best. I could roll and then get an injury or something, right? Would you risk triple captain this week? No, probably not. I mean, again, if you're going to use triple captain on a single game week player, then Salah against any of the bad defences, Norwich, Watford, Newcastle, it's the time to do it. But I'll always wait for a double game week, to be honest. I hope Harvey Elliott is back when African Cup is on. Yeah, it'd be good to see him back. Obviously, it was a really bad injury. Cristiano, 72 points, nice. 3 players got a 0 return. Had 2 free transfers, forgot to use them. Ouch. Did Kane to CR7 last night to avoid the price rise. If Ronaldo misses out, Tony and Rafinha to Bernardo and King for -4. Again, I don't know if you need to take Rafinha out for a hit. Who's Rafinha even playing? It must be love. Oh yeah, away to Man City, of course. Yeah, for a hit, I don't know about that. I'd probably just do Tony to King and not spend the other one. Bernardo's a good buy, but the thing is with Rafinha now, especially if you don't sell Rafinha this week, you definitely keep him then. I think the fixtures are just going to turn around pretty decently, right? This might sound silly, but thoughts on Minamino? Yeah. I think that reaction kind of tells you all. I mean, the thing is, you play for Liverpool, you're going to get chances, but when you take out Mane and Salah, even Liverpool might take a little bit of a dip. They'll probably still win plenty of games, but Minamino, Nah. I think Joss is the main man then. Plays number 10 when Odegaard's benched. I don't know who you're talking about. One of the Arsenal defenders, obviously, but I missed the last thing. Yeah, I'm through in the cup. Only just, though. 74, 65. I won by 9 points. Oh, no, 67, sorry. Because once Vardy comes off, Pookie comes in. And also, he had someone else missing out. Smith Rowe. Smith Rowe and Vardy miss out, but he's only got Pookie and Cresswell on the bench. So happy days. So manager ranked 2.6 million. He's making active transfers. Took Gundo out for Bernardo Silva. Smart. Oh, that was in game week 15 though. But still. Yeah. Smashed them. How long's African Cup of Nations? Good question. Is it like a month, I think? Some of the African Cup of Nations will be played during the break at the start of January. I think it's like FA Cup break or something. I've drawn 50-50 in the cup. What happens to this side? I don't know. It'll be in the rules somewhere. Not 100%. Am I not interested in Gallagher? I mean, Gallagher's fine, but I won't buy him ahead of Bowen. And to be honest, I just won't buy him ahead of Rafinha in a few weeks either, to be honest. I'm never going to say Minamino's essential. I don't even know how much he is. Hang on. He's only 5.1 million. He could be essential. Let me see. African Cup of Nations dates. So it runs from the 9th of January to the 6th of February. So, and obviously they go a little bit before that. So potentially they're going to play right up until game week 21, right? And then you've only got 1, 2, 2. You've only got 2 fixtures then until... So it would finish on the 6th. Now, obviously, if Mane and Salah got to the final, they probably wouldn't play this game. But you'd think they'd be back for the one after, or at least the one after that. So it all depends how far they get through. But they might only miss 2 games, which ain't much. The world number 1's in my league. Yeah, sometimes he's in the chat, actually. Obviously, the chat goes so fast, I can't keep up with it. But yeah, Daniel, I'm pretty sure, has been in the chat. Gangsters Allardyce. Nice name. He captain Ronaldo. Like I said, gained an extra point over Salah captainers. Decent squad. He is in my league somewhere. There he is. Oh my god. Excuse me. I had a roast chicken dinner. It's knocked me for 6. No, the African Cup of Nations date hasn't changed. That was just a rumour. I think it's been pretty much confirmed. That's not the... It is just going ahead as normal. They did... I'm pretty sure that's correct anyway. I mean, there was... Obviously, for a tournament that starts on the 9th, you'd probably want them there a bit earlier. But as far as I know, they're going to... Liverpool and that are trying to get them to play in this game. So they at least get that January 1st game out of the way and then go. So they may only miss like 2 games. We'll have to see. What time on the cup update? Don't know. Norma, wow, 50 quid, thank you very much. Fan team leader here, wow. You're is that the 200 grand game? Are you leading the 200 grand game? Jesus Christ, that's true. Fair play to you. Haven't missed a video of yours. Wanted to say thanks. Wow, thank you very much. Much appreciated. Thank you to everyone that's super chatted, by the way, again. I don't even know how you see the overalls. How many points did I get in fan team this week? 70. I played a back 5 in fan team. Rudiger, Cancelo, Diaz, Trent and Alonso. And Ramsdale. I had Salah. I had Mount. I bought in Mount in fan team. I bought in Bowen as well. I've got Antonio and Ronaldo. And I have Rafinha on the bench. Oh, I had Rafinha on the bench. I played double Chelsea defence instead. What am I talking about? Saka? What do you want to know? Norma. Oh, yeah, I see you now. Norma Trooper. Oh, 230 grand. Imagine if you win that. That is insane. You're on 1,177 points. I'm only 90 behind. 90 points behind. Could I still win it? Maybe. I think it's... The thing is, obviously, it's a lot of money, so a lot of people are kind of... Oh, that's euros, isn't it? That's euros, sorry. Oh, it's $1 million. Yeah, it's $1 million total, isn't it? Mental. I don't think I can see your team though, can I? Oh, I can see your team. You got 70 points as well this week. Dennis, smart. Bernardo Silva, smart. Do you think the legend Mboma will be Mboma, if he keeps playing where he is right now, he'll 100% be a forward next year, no doubt about it. Nick, so you like the Q&A video? Thank you very much. The only thing I don't like about the Q&A videos is I want to answer loads of questions, but I find it very hard to make the video short. Like 40 minutes is probably a bit long, really. But I don't know how to make them shorter, apart from just not answering very much. Number one question the coming days: Ings or Watkins? I think it's got to be Watkins, right? I mean, probably Watkins, yeah. You'll make one fan team last year. It's so much money. I'm really bad, right? Because fan team, there's so much money at stake. Sky, there's 50 grand. I always forget them. I always forget to, like, I'm currently in Sky. I'm 100 and... Hang on, let me just log in a sec. I'm 115th in the world, right? I mean, I'm over 100 points behind number one. But, I mean, the way that Sky works, that's kind of doable because of all the captains and stuff. So I'm 115th in the world, yeah? And, like, there's 50 grand for the winner. And, yet I forgot to do Kane to Ronaldo. Just, yeah. You came... Yeah, I'll be honest. I do kind of... I mean, would I rather win FPL than Sky? Yes, I think I would. Would I rather win FPL than Fan Team? That's a bit more difficult because Fan Team's so, like, it's 200 grand. I think I'd take... I don't know. I'd maybe take the FPL win. I'd maybe... Like, money is great. But FPL, when you're an FPL channel, take the FPL win. Jota might become a forward, low chat. No, Jota would... If Jota keeps playing as number 9, he'll be a forward as well, yeah. 100%. I'm the only idiot that trusted in Rashford. No, you probably weren't the only idiot. I think you just have to see it through for a few weeks now if you went for Rashford. The one thing that's good about Rashford is the last two games, Sancho's come off early and both times Greenwood's come on. I really thought this time Greenwood might come on for Rashford. The only thing is Rashford's not looked good, but got the fixtures. What price would you put on an FPL win? Oh, I don't know. It's difficult. Yeah, I mean, there obviously would be an amount where you just think, yeah, it'd be stupid not to take it. But I don't know. You just think of all the subscribers, the people watching. Like you'd just be skyrocketing. I don't know. I mean, just like when you've put so much time into FPL, like you played for so long. I mean, 50 grand. Like, do you know what I mean? You can't really turn it down. Like if it was to never, like if you could like finish second and take the 50 grand, then you'd probably take that. I don't know. Oh, here we go. This is a good question. Why don't people who obsess about XG? I mean, I feel like people don't obsess about it. They just use it. And then people that don't like it get really annoyed that they use it. Understand that poor finishing and composure means you'll underperform and won't benefit from mean reversion. I'm not really sure what that last bit means. But people that use XG a lot are very aware of who's a good finisher and who's not, basically, I would say. From what I understand, from learning a lot from other people, right? Because I'm no expert on expected goals, it's that finishing doesn't mean as much as a lot of people think it does. Like getting into the right positions is way more important than how good you are at finishing. Obviously, being a good finisher, like Son, for example, is pretty helpful. But I think, it's not an obsession. It's just a tool. Like the whole stuff on Twitter at the moment is so tedious. between XG. Like, it's a perfect example, right? I said, I didn't ram it down anyone's throat. People just kept asking me, why am I going for King? Better stats, penalties, and not going to African combinations. I didn't say that Dennis was a really bad option. I didn't say you're an idiot for buying Dennis. I said, like, he's perfectly good. He could outscore King. That's all I said. And then as soon as Dennis scored, my mentions were just, XG's a load of rubbish, form over XG, you should really use your eye test. It's just like, it's just so tedious. And it's just mute. So if you reply to me with that, you've been muted. Like, it's just, I'm not obsessed by it. I just think it's a tool, right? That's it. And the thing is, it's not like no one that we'll stay on this topic for a sec. No one that uses XG like properly thinks that it's perfect, right? Just because a player is underperforming doesn't mean that they'll revert to, you know, overperformance to balance it out like straight away. Like if you underperform for 5 games, you don't then overperform for 5. It could be a whole season. It could be 2 seasons, right? You could go into a really bad finishing slump and then later on you go back to being okay at finishing. That happens a lot. Like, take Jack Grealish right now, right? He's had a few chances. He's missed. Is he suddenly a bad finisher? No, it just happens in football. He could then go 2 or 3 games in a row where everything he hits just goes in. That just happens, right? And yeah, King did hit the post, yeah. Expected points is a better metric to use than expected goals. Yeah, but they're pretty much taking into account stats to get to that expected points, right? I mean, you can use expected goals to get expected points. If you're clever enough to build a model. I'm not saying I am. Imagine last minute 1-0 to Man United, last kick of the game, Bomber smashes home for 30 yards. I would rather he didn't beat Man United. I'd be happy for him to score and Man United to win. Take the L with King over Dennis. Yeah, fine. If it makes you feel better... But that's the thing, like, what is the point in dwelling on it? Like, people just, they feel like forever need to dwell on the fact that you got a player wrong. Why does it matter? Why does it matter so much to you? Like, I don't get what, like, I would still buy King now, even though it hasn't worked out. Like, what do you want me to say? I don't get it. Yeah, Gallagher was definitely more advanced today. West Ham fans calling for Antonio to be dropped. Are they really? I find that hard to believe. I find it very hard to believe. Stop moving the mic. Is it really annoying? Like, genuinely. I would get the whole, like, you know, take the L or just admit you were wrong if I was like ramming it down people's throats every time I was right. Like, I'm happy to have a bit of a joke, right, about Mbommo, but I'm not sitting here saying you're all idiots for not having Mbommo for Watford, right? It's just, you know, it's just one of those things. It was a good fixture to hold him for. Got a bit lucky with the penalty. Happy days. That's it, right? I don't get it. I don't get it. do. Pookie and Dennis, just these two. Who's better right now? I mean, probably Dennis, to be honest. The thing is with Pookie, I think Pookie's looked pretty good under Dean Smith, right? As good as like he could be. I think he had a few chances against Man United as well. And I think Villa at home is quite good. The only thing is then it's West Ham away, Arsenal at home. They're not the easiest run of fixtures, so I'd probably opt for Dennis shorter term, to be honest. What do you think about Greenwood? Greenwood's just a no-go until he starts starting, basically. And even when he does start starting, you're always going to have worries about Sancho, Rashford, etc. So it's just. I think it's pointless buying Greenwood. Like, there is a chance that he starts midweek against Brentford if the game goes ahead, of course. But then is he going to start at the weekend? I think he'd have to have a really good game against Brentford to keep his place. Excuse me. What's the highest rank you could finish realistically? I mean, hang on a sec. Let me have a quick look at something here before I answer that question. I want to see how far behind I am. I mean, honestly, I could probably still win it from here, but I mean, it would be very tough to win it. I won't lie. Let me see how far I am behind number one. It's probably I'm already 151 points behind number one. So winning it's probably going to be quite difficult. Not impossible, but I would have to nail every decision. And right now, in a time when everyone's captaining Salah, And obviously, I've got a very template team. It'd be pretty difficult to get through 151 points. But there's still more than half the season goes, double game weeks and all this stuff. So winning it is possible. But if we're talking about realistic, top 10k, top 1k is still realistic from here. Like, you're not that far behind. So yeah, I'll say top 10k. Definitely realistic. More than realistic, I would say. Obviously, it depends how you go over the next couple of weeks, right? Buy Watkins or Foden, can afford either. I'd probably go Foden, but I would not want to do that transfer until I hear from Pep, to be honest, because last week he was saying about this ankle injury or whatever. I think it was ankle, right? I feel like I'm kind of second guessing myself. But if he's fine, then he'll probably start. So he probably would want to go for. Exactly. We've still not got the business end of the season, chips and all that kind of stuff. City midfielder to have me before. I mean, there's your answer. Probably Foden. If not, Bernardo Silva, maybe. I mean, because now Gundogan apparently has got a bit of a back issue as well. Best 4.9 million or under defender I ever recommend. If I was buying one right now, I probably would buy Dalot, to be honest. There is a bit of risk involved because I don't know. People keep asking me, is he nailed? I just wouldn't say he's definitely nailed. But I think he's about as good as at the moment. Obviously, it gets a bit trickier then. Like, I like Lamptey, but the fixtures aren't great. I'd probably buy Tierney or Dalot probably. Can you top up your transfer budget by buying extra coins? I wish. Please do hit that like button if you haven't already, by the way. We can get to 1,000 likes if you just hit the like button. Obviously, subscribe as well if you are new around here. That would be much appreciated. We'll start wrapping up in a second, I think. Oh. Benteke thoughts, not nailed enough. Would you buy an Mbommo jersey if he gets a hat-trick next game? No, I don't think so. The likely similar size that will happen when the chips come into play mean a big jump in rank is not as likely as you think. No, of course, but like it all coincides. Like there's loads of weeks left, right? There's more than half the season, and there's chips, and there's double game weeks. Anything can happen. You don't need like a massive rank jump to get out of the ranks. At what point do you start captain differentials? Not for a very long time. Very long time, I would say. I mean, just this week I've gone up like 30k, 40k in 1 week from just an okay week compared to everyone else. Like, points are still quite tight. Like, between me and top 50k, there's 30 points. So 100,000 places is 30 points. Like, it's nothing, really. It's really nothing. Who would you most like to earn in FPL? Benzema, Lewandowski, or Haaland? Who scores the most goals? Lewandowski, right? Nigeria have sacked their manager. Does that mean Dennis straight in? If anyone's asking, is he nailed about any player, that tells you everything you need to know about how nailed that player is. Yeah, absolutely. FPL the next level, gone from 80k to 160k in last 8 games for 7 red arrows. Yeah, I was basically like that. Like you can see from my transfer page, game week history page, exactly the same. Look, red arrow after red arrow. Even this one, I've said before, it was only like a 2,000 rank rise. So it's pretty much red arrow, and I finally got a green. But like I said, you can got like I've fallen down like a lot of places, 175k, and this is by the time the bench points come in, this will be 151. So I've lost like 100 and whatever I just said, 75,000 places, and in 1 week I've gone back up 40k. So it's going to be slow. It is going to be difficult, but I certainly not throwing in the towel just yet. Lewandowski would probably be like it'd probably be the same price as Lukaku, like 11.5, maybe 12. Now, I just don't get that logic. Why would you play a bench boost in a single game week for a larger rank rise? That just doesn't make sense. It only makes sense if you think that is better than doing it in the double game week. Nothing to do with what everyone else will do, in my opinion. The dog is called Riley. She is called Riley. He wouldn't be 13 million. Ronaldo didn't come in at 13 million. Lewandowski wouldn't either. I know he scored more goals or whatever last year, but it just wouldn't happen. I don't think so anyway. Is it possible to be ranked 200k and end up being number one? It's possible. It's obviously very difficult, right? The people that are already in like the top 10, top 100, they will stay around there for a long time, to be honest. What game should we quit FPL? You don't quit until it's over. Do not quit. Trust me. If it feels bad now, it can happen. You can go out quickly. All right, I think we'll leave the FPL stuff there. If you want to talk about anything else for a couple of minutes. Oh, it's already gone 9 o'clock, actually. Been going too long. Have you managed to train your dog well? I'd say pretty well. Pretty well. She's not too bad for most stuff. Whether or not she listens is a different question, of course. Don't forget, by the way, before you go, please do hit that like button. Let's get to 1,000 likes. There's 4,000 of you watching still. We're on 800 and something. Get us over the 1,000 line. That'd be great. And obviously, hit that subscribe button if you're new around here. I've got two videos tomorrow, one video and one deadline stream on Tuesday, and then we'll do the standard content the week after as well. Obviously, Tuesday is the deadline, 6 p.m. How many Christmas sweaters do you have? I think I've got like 4 now, or maybe 5. I bought some more because someone said I wasn't wearing enough in December, so I bought a few more. Favorite beer? Probably, I don't know, some kind of IPA. I don't know if I've got like a favorite, but IPA over like lager or anything like that. Do I like Terry's chocolate orange or not? I love Terry's chocolate orange. They're one of my favorite chocolates. They're too good. How many times have you changed your tops today? I learned a bunch from your Q&A video. So none really. I mean, I'm wearing what I've been wearing all day, but I just put the jumper on before I came on. So I was just wearing a t-shirt most of the time around the house. Should I play Dallo? I'd play Bowen ahead of Dallo, to be honest. Have I got all my Christmas shopping done? Yes. Been very organised this year. Very organised. Do you like after eights? Yes. Gravy with the chicken today? Yes. These are the important questions we need to get into. Tierney or White? Please answer. I mean, it's got to be Tierney, right? How's your benching / deadlifting going? So, I'm not doing any benching, right? So, I'm working with a trainer. In fact, if any of you watch Josh Bridgman? Answer me that. Some of you must have seen him, right? He's not necessarily the biggest fitness guy out there, but he's got a lot of followers still. He's got quite a few. Christmas trees in the front room. Do you drink Sneak energy drink? No. Yeah, so basically, like, Josh got his, like, whatever it's called, Josh Bridgman Brigade, maybe, training. So I'm doing it with Ethan. And so I'm not doing any benching. I'm doing like upper. So I'm doing upper. So tomorrow will be upper, lower will be Tuesday. Then it's rest, upper, lower, rest. But there's no benching in it at all. There's high incline shoulder press. There's flat press with dumbbells. There's like chest stuff on machines, but there's no bench press essentially. And deadlifting, I'm only doing RDLs. 1 day a week. So it's going well. The gym is actually going really well. The gym is going well. The food's going well at the moment. That's what needs to keep up. But I'm really happy with how the gym's going right now, and I'm really happy with it. How many meals per day? Nothing like that. It's all about calories. It's like 2,950 calories and 200 grams of protein. And then the rest kind of what I want, but I've got to try and hit carbs to a certain level. But the protein's more of where it's at. It's not a certain amount of meals. I mean, I pretty much stick to a standard, just what fits in with life, basically. Which is like 1 to the gym, 2, 3. It's maybe 5 that I do. 5. You're actually very knowledgeable about fitness to like a certain level, but only through what I've watched on YouTube. Is protein powder worth it? I'm sure I saw a question. Basically, like, yes and no. Like, it's only worth it if you need it to hit your goal, I guess. If you can get it from food, there's no real reason to have it from protein powder anyway. Like, I use it for, like, I make pancakes every morning, and I stick in the protein powder into that because it's just nicer, basically. And it's like, by the time I make the whole thing, it's like 48 grams of protein in one meal. So boom. The watch I have is a Garmin Vivo Active 4, which I basically bought because I want to track my steps. Do you go to church on Christmas morning? No, not a church person. My missus has found a balance: high protein, no sugar, beers and treats, and peanuts and pulse crashes. Nice. I'm really trying to not drink at the moment. Like, I've really laid it off at home. Like if I go out over Christmas and, like, you know, on Christmas Day and stuff, not bothered. But in general, I'm trying to, like, knock it on the head a lot. Not saying never, but Colin working out right now, very nice. 200 grams of protein seems so excessive. There's a lot of people that have more than that. Your digestive system doesn't process more than 20 to 30 grams per 3 hours. Yeah, I think 200 is okay. Do I get recognised when I go out? Sometimes. I did when I went to the UK quite a few times. I always feel like an idiot. I went to the NFL. They had NFL at Wembley. I went over for that. And I was queuing up to get some food with my mate. And then someone just asked for a photo. So I'm stood there. There's queues and queues of, like, it wasn't like when I watched the football when people were just like nut jobs. There was actually organised civil queues, like 6 or 7 on either side of me, and this guy's just taking my picture, and I just felt like a right idiot. What new treat / alcohol have you had recently? Like, I don't think I've had anything new, to be honest. I really don't. Don't think so. 200 is the upper limit if you're not trying to gain serious muscle. We'll see one day. Does cheese and wine constitute a pie? I would say there was a few parties for what you're talking about. But other than that, we won't get into that too much because politics doesn't go down well, does it? Get on intermittent fasting, training or ketosis. Yeah, look, I know all about this. I've done it before. For me, right, counting calories just works because I've got, like, then there's a goal. There's like a set. There's a number. I know I can't go over it. It just works for me. It's not necessarily ideal. There's lots of people that don't do it and they get on fine. But for me, I kind of need that. I kind of do intermittent fast to a certain extent. I don't eat till about 11. And once I stop eating in the evening, like, I had my dinner like about 6:30. So I won't eat again now till like 11 in the morning. So I kind of do fast-ish. I don't do like 16 hours, 24 hours, whatever, or 20 hours, whatever. But I do kind of fast a little bit. Not just about that. If you're above a certain level, it just gets processed as another source of calories. Yeah, I got to be honest. I don't think 200 is a problem. I really don't. But if you think it is, fair play. Remember to turn off the immersion. We don't have an immersion, I don't think. Or do we? I'm not sure if we do. We probably do, right? Do we? I don't know. Are you comfortable being a personality? I don't. I'm not that comfortable talking to people. No, like, I guess. I think, look, let's be honest. Realistically, in the grand scheme of like YouTube and personality stuff, I'm still small fry. But yeah, it's cool. It is cool when people come up to you, right? It's nice. It's nice that they want to talk to you. You hate working from home. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. All right, I'm going to go because it's like 9:15 now. Next video will be tomorrow morning. As soon as it's done, and I've already started prep for it, as soon as it's done, it will be out, and then the team selection will be in the evening. Then we'll have game week preview Tuesday morning. We'll have a deadline stream in the evening. How do you feel physically and mentally compared to before you worked out? Much better. Honestly, like I always say, like it's so cliche, but it's so true. You go to the gym, you never, ever, ever, ever feel worse when you leave. Like, you might pick up an injury, I guess, or something like that, but generally you feel so much better. Is there anyone with a bigger FPL following? Don't know, to be honest. Don't know. Okay. Yeah, all right, we're done with fitness and stuff. Thank you very much for watching. Please do keep hitting that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'll be back tomorrow morning with another video. Thanks for all your questions. I will catch you again soon.